and welcome back to the channel. I hope you are all well. So I put on my community tab colour along for this month, and by a very sliver of a thing, Johanna Basford came out as the most popular, and I decided to do something in Rooms of Wonders. I've only done one page in here so far, which is the like Harry Potter-esque page. So, and I just completed a cake page in Worlds of Wonder, and I so enjoyed it that I thought I must do another cake. So I put that we were going to be doing this one. So this is the one we're going to be doing. I have a kind of idea for what I want to do with this. So I've decided the cake is going to be chocolate with pink icing, like dark pink icing, and these little, I don't know what they're called, blobs, don't know, squirts. They've probably got a fancy name in cake decorating. This is probably going to be pale pink. Then inside, I kind of want a rose gold, iridescent cream, maybe a bronze, and gold colour theme inside the cake. I don't know if I'm going to pull that off, but we shall see what happens. So lots of metallic paint, I think, and then I'm probably going to do a very, I don't know, might be a light pink background with some circles, might do that with my distress ink. Don't know yet, haven't quite decided. Might leave it blank depending on how it all comes out. But yeah, so that's what I'm doing, and I'm going to be using Polychromos pencils because I realised I loved using that in Worlds of Wonder. So yeah, let's get started. I will tell you the colours I'm using. I'll probably put them down in the description. Yeah, so let's just get going. I'm going to zoom you in a little bit, and we're going to start up the top. And the first pencil, which I'm going to lay down as the first layer, is brown ochre. So, how is everybody doing? It's been a while since I've done a colouring chat, I have to be perfectly honest. I can't remember when I last did one. I think it was the Christmas page that I did, the gramophone. So a lot's happened since then for me. I hinted, I think, maybe in one of those videos, that I had some news. And my news is that I got a new job before Christmas. It all happened very quickly. It's the first job I've applied for in about 6 or 7 years. And I got it, and I think I was in a bit of shock. And I don't think it had quite sunk in until, I mean, I handed my notice in on just before Christmas. And then I didn't start really telling colleagues and stuff until like my first week back in the new year. So like the 4th of January onwards. And it was then that it started to become very real. And it was like, oh, okay, yeah. I hadn't really thought through kind of what that meant, and leaving and writing handover notes, and yeah, so my head has been like soup the last few weeks, where you're walking or just mindlessly just relaxing, walking or maybe colouring, and suddenly you go, oh yeah, I need to add that to my handover notes as well. And so that's what my mind's been like the last few weeks, which has been interesting. And I've kind of been trying to do the day job while also write handover notes. And it's come to this week, and I'm leaving next Friday, 3rd of February. And I've kind of gone, you know what, I can't actually continue to do the day job whilst trying to also write 4 different sets of handover notes, because my role is kind of, where I currently am, is like I've got 4 like different facets to my job. And so they all require separate handover notes with different processes and blah, blah, blah. And it got to this week, and I hadn't even started some of them. And I was just like, you know what? I can't keep trying to do the day job whilst I've still got a whole load of handover notes to do. So I just had to say, no, I'm afraid someone, because at the moment we're going for a big rebrand and changing logos and fonts and stuff. And people are like, well, can you just do me a clean version of that? And I'm like, well, no, actually I can't, because if you want to know what a document is or you want to know how to do something, I actually need to write the handover notes for you so you know how to do it. So I've had to say no quite a lot this week, which can be quite liberating if you've never really done that before. Yeah, so I've had to just take a step back and just go, right, what's the priority here? Because otherwise I'm just gonna like wear myself to the ground and not be ready to start my new job. So, because I'm not having a break in between, so I finish on the 3rd and then I start my new job on the 6th. I was just like, you know what? I'd done a, last week I did so I'm training to be a coach. I did a session all about mindfulness, and self-compassion and self-care. And for me right now, it feels really important that I actually practice self-care and looking after myself and my mental health and my physical health. And so, yeah, I really needed that last week as a kind of message to myself, actually. You need to be kind and you need to take care of yourself and make sure you're in a position to start your new job with verve, energy, vigour, and not be worn down by the processes in the next few weeks. So so that's why I think I've started saying no and going, actually, no, I have to do this way. So yeah, so that's been a challenge, but you know, we're getting there. So what I'm doing is I'm doing a very light layer of this brown ochre all over the cake, and that's to just give me something to put the rest of the layers on. So I'm probably going to go over with a medium brown, like a reddish brown, and then go over with a quite a darkish brown to make it into a chocolate cake. So at the moment it looks like a vanilla sponge. So that's my exciting news. I'm really, really excited about my new job. I don't tend to give too much away about kind of where or what I'm going to be doing. But yeah, it's really good for me. It chimes with my values. It feels like a good career move. I've met my boss. I've met the person I'm taking over from. So that all feels really positive. Everyone I've told about my new job, they're like, oh yeah, it's a really good place to work. You know, they've said to me about boundaries, that time's flexible. You know, if you do a long day one day, you can do a short day the next. So it all feels really like a really positive move. So that was brown ochre. Now I'm going to go over that with burnt sienna. Burnt sienna is one of my favourite colours in the Polychromos set. And it's actually one of my smallest pencils. It's funny, most of my browns are my smallest pencils. That and some of the greens. It's very, very weird. I never thought that would be the case. So I could give it a sharpen. So yeah, so that's my news. My daughter's got a bit of a cold this week, and I think I've kind of picked that up from her. So that's a little bit annoying. But it's part of the course, isn't it? We've been back to school, 2 or 3 weeks now? And that's what happens. You pick up all the horrible germs. So yeah, so I got a bit of a cold. I felt a bit run down yesterday, so I had a bit of a rest in the afternoon. Again, practicing self-care, listening to what my body was telling me, which was you need to sleep. So that's what I did. I've just finished an amazing picture out of Circle of Life by Malfamini Chatziapanagiotou. I never say that name right. Oh, and I just got second hand, but they were in completely new condition. I just got some Faber-Castell Albrecht Dürer pencils. So they're watercolour pencils. And oh my goodness. Shell's colouring journey uses them a lot in her colouring. And I think that's what's kind of inspired me to get a set. I've got some ink tents and I really like those. But I find the ink tents really nice, but once they're down, that's it, you can't move them around very much. The colours are fabulous, but I find them then you can't really go in with them dry. I find you need a kind of different pencil, like Polychromos or something, to go over them. But Shell's or Colour & Journal was always saying, right, so I use my Albert Dürer dry here, and I didn't activate them. And I thought, oh, that's interesting that you can use watercolour pencils dry as well as wet, and that she's still getting these amazing effects. So I think that's why I was interested. So I got a pack of 36, and I was thinking, well, if I get a pack of 36, I can build them up if I want a larger set. And they are really, really, really nice. I really like them. I've used them, I've activated them, I've used them dry, I've used them back dry over the top of the activated. They work beautifully. The colours aren't perhaps as vibrant as the Inktense, which I think probably, I don't know if that's what I expected or not. I think I'd read somewhere somebody else saying that they weren't as vibrant as they were expecting. But then when you go back over them dry, you intensify the colour, and they're amazing, and they just go down really nicely on the paper. They blend really nicely. So yeah, I'm really, really happy with them. I don't think I need a larger set. I don't think I need the 120 because I have the Polychromos, and they work really, really nicely with the Polychromos, and I can mix the two sets together and use them that way, because the colours are exactly the same as in the normal Polychromos set, so you can match them up and you can blend them together, and yeah, so I'm really, really happy with that purchase. And they were, I got them for a really good price as well, so I was really, really happy. Yeah, so I've got some other things on my list at the minute that I really, really want. I want some, what do I want? There's some Derwent drawing pencils that I've quite fancy the look of. And there's some, what are they called? Derwent Graphitin pencils, because I think they would complement the kind of pencils that I have already. So I've got Polychromos. If you watched my favourite supply videos of 2022, I'll put a link up here. If you watch that video, I talk about the pencils that I've got, and I think the Graphitins would complement the pencil sets that I have already, in the fact that I don't, like, I bought the Brut Funa Macarons because the Polychromos don't really have many pastel tones in them, I don't think. There's a few, but not many. So the Brut Funas really complement my Polychromos. I've got the Arteza 72 set. Again, they don't have many pastel-y type colours. There's a couple, but not many. So my Brut Funa Macarons really complement that. And then, so the Graphitints are kind of like darker, earthy. You can get really nice stone shades out of them. I've seen a great video on how to use them, and there's some great video of somebody using them in Eerie books. So I'm quite taken by those at the moment as well. But they're not cheap. As I said, they're Derwent projects, so they're like 50 quid per tin, or I think they're 28 or 36, can't remember. But yeah, they're not cheap. So they're on my list at the minute, so let's hope I'll be able to purchase them shortly. I got lots of colouring books for Christmas. So many. I don't think I've coloured in them all yet. I can't think if I have. No, I haven't. There's an Eerie book I've not even started. That's a fairy tale one, I think. Then there's another Japan book. So I went a bit crazy on Amazon Japan. And there's, I think it's Fantasy Seasons, I think it's called. Which I haven't coloured in at all. And then there's an Emmanuel Morris one, which is the portraits on amazing, I think it's watercolour paper, and it's perforated. And I'm a bit scared. I'm a bit intimidated by the book. Again, I think it's either in my November-December haul. It might be in my November-December haul. I can't remember. But again, I'll link the video up here. So yeah, there's a few books I need to get going on. But I'm not sure I'm going to get to them in January, because the end of January is next week. I might get some colouring in this weekend, because my daughter is got a sleepover on Saturday, which means I'll have a bit of time to myself to be able to colour. I've just posted a picture to Instagram, and I'm getting loads of notifications that people are liking the picture, which is really funny. Right, so that was burnt sienna, and now I want to use walnut brown as the third layer over the top to make it a chocolatey brown cake. And then I might blend it all back together. We'll see how we go. Oh, I'm bending over. I'm getting pain in my stomach. Right, so this is the third layer, and this is the darkest. But I'm not sure. Yeah, I probably am going to go all right back over that again. And then I may even darken it up under some of the icing. We shall see. It's likely that I'm going to do these like hundreds and thousandsy bits in sparkly gel pen and different colours. Although I could do them in like pastel shades, because hundreds and thousands are normally like pastels, aren't they? Hundreds and thousands, I don't know if they have them in the US or if it's just a UK thing. But they're like sugar coated pastel colour small strands of things you put on cake. So yeah, that's the plan, is to do them in like, probably I'll either use my Chromatech sparkly gel pens or I'll use my Pentel dual hybrids, which are really sparkly as well. It's funny, when I did my haul, I couldn't believe how many times I'd used my Pentel dual hybrid on colouring pages in 2022. But they are amazing. They're really expensive, but they are amazing. They pop, they sparkle, you know, dual metallic, 2 different colours. Oh, they're just so pretty. And I haven't found anything that matches it at the minute. They're my go-to. Absolutely my go-to, I would say. But I got some Chromatech gel pens for Christmas, and they are equally as sparkly, not so expensive. I have refills for them. Nice colours. But there's something about the dual metallic. I think it's the colour shift. I think that's why I like them so much. It's the colour shift. So this is the third layer of Polychromos. I think it can probably take more. And I'll probably... I might go over again with this or another shade of brown. So this is walnut brown. Again, it's another one of my absolutely favourite browns. Don't know, I might go back over it with... There's something weird on the paper there. I might go back... I might darken up the underneath parts here. With a black. And then I might go back over it again with walnut brown as a third layer. So yeah, this is... I don't know, for some reason I seem to really like colouring food. I noticed I really like colouring ice creams. And I didn't realise how much as I was going to enjoy colouring cake. If you follow me on Instagram, Colouring with Amy is my Instagram handle. I just finished the cake page in Worlds of Wonder, and oh my gosh, I had so much fun. You know, imagining all the different cake colours you can have, all the different icings, having so much fun with my acrylic paint pens to get rid of the black lines. Oh my goodness, it was so much fun. And I mean, I didn't feel hungry. And I think when Johanna was doing a colour along of the cake page, she said, oh, this is making me feel really hungry. I don't think I did. I just absolutely loved the way my Polychromos went down. I was using Brute Funa Macaron. I was having fun with acrylic paint pens. I was having fun with Pentel dual hybrids. And it was just great. I absolutely loved it. And it's a page I've been saving because it's a page I loved. And I'd seen other people do it. And I was like, I'm never going to be able to do this justice. I'm not, you know, my background is rubbish. It's not something I wish I'd done, you know, something a little bit more elaborate, like a shop front with the cake windows in. But the cakes for me were like the front and centre, and I didn't want them to be taken away by me doing an elaborate background. So, yeah, so I'm hoping the cakes kind of speak for themselves. But I had so much fun doing it, and I think that's why I wanted to do a kind of cakey page in this book. And this just screamed at me when I went through the book and had a look. And like I said, I've only done one in this book so far, and it's been out since October, November time last year. So yeah, felt I needed to give the book a little bit of love. Plus there's some hashtags January. I think there's Johanna in January, which is GI colorist. She's doing that. And then there's Johanna from January to June, which is another one. So that's one's running for 6 months. I can't remember who's doing that. I'll see if I can find out, and I'll put it in the description. So yeah, it's basically colour any page in any Johanna Basford book. So that gives you a nice lot of choice. But it also means, like, because some of my, like, I really, really love Worlds of Wonder. It's one of my, I think that one is my favourite out of all of them. And I think this one is probably my favourite after that. And then I think, I don't really know after that. Right, I'm going to get the black out now. I don't really know what's my favourite after that. Magical Jungle I'm not so keen on. I think it's because of the massive leaves. And they scare the bejeebers out of me. So yeah, I'm not so keen on the kind of blacky leaves. I love World of Flowers. I love Enchanted Forest. Not so keen on Secret Garden, and I think that's because of the drawing. And I'm not so keen on Lost Ocean because of all the fiddly bits. It's like there's lots of really small parts in there, which are, again, you can't really use pencils in. That wouldn't have been a problem for me before, because I did start my colouring journey with pen fine liners, so I'm not averse to using them now, but I really love using pencils now. Oh, and of course there's Ivy, which I have actually finished. Well, I've still got a little bit more to do, but I call it finished. I've done all the main images. So yeah, I think that's kind of the order for me. And then there's a couple of others. So I'm going to do, so I just darkened up the underneath parts under the icing with the black. And now I'm going to put another layer down. This is the answer with Polychromos. It's lots and lots of light layers. And I don't think so I should probably in fact I will. I'm going to turn the book round, because you probably shouldn't do the strokes all in one direction. So I think this is called scumbling, where you do lots of small circles. And that's just to try and get rid of the white in the paper. Yeah, I'm beginning to feel like the oiliness now, which is kind of where you want to be, is to see and feel the oil build up, which means you get a nice smooth colour. Yeah, I can see the white of the paper disappearing now as we speak. I don't know if you can see that or not. So yeah, and then that black's going to be blended out a little bit with the brown. So yeah, I've gone back to walnut brown. Yeah, this is definitely the last layer, folks, I would say. So we've got a nice dark chocolatey cake. I think that's probably all we're going to get to do on this video, is the chocolatey cake part. But that's fine. It's probably going to be several parts this video, because I can only really record half an hour, 40 minutes on my phone before every time I've done longer, the file corrupts and I lose the whole video, which is so annoying. So I can only really record half an hour to 40 minutes on my phone. Yeah, so that's my setup. I record on my phone. I haven't got anything posh. All on my phone. I tend to do one take. So if something goes wrong, well, that's tough. I can edit stuff out. I've worked out how to do that. I can insert pictures. I've learned how to do that. It's fun, these things you learn how to do when you start your own YouTube channel. You never think it would be the case, but yep, that's what's happened. I've learned how to do a lot of stuff. But the YouTube kind of editor is pretty good. So there we go. That's that layer. So yeah, this is definitely the final layer. So I think that's something like four layers of Polychromos I've done. And I'm not pressing very hard, really. So yeah. So what else have I got to tell you? Don't know, really. Is there anything you would like to see me attempt? a demonstration of. Any books you'd like to see me colour in that I've not coloured with you before, then do put it in the comments. I'm always love to hear from you guys. If you'd like to do a buddy colour, again, I'm always up for that. I absolutely love hearing from you. I want this to be an interactive, fun space. I'm hoping to do a live with this colour along. I haven't done one for ages. In fact, I think I've only ever done one. But now my setup's back to normal after Christmas, and I've worked out how to get my phone to work in the right way in terms of making sure it's in the right kind of orientation. Then I want to do a live, and I might do that might do that on Saturday actually. I'll put it on the look, I just went over the line. I might do that put that on the community tab that I'm going to do a live. I'll do it on Saturday, I think. Probably not during primetime television. Don't know. Do you guys like watching primetime television on Saturday night? I quite like watching The Masked Singer, but my daughter's not going to be here on Saturday night and we watch it together. So I will probably do a live on Saturday night. Might be like early-ish, don't know. But that might be quite fun. And we'll probably do the icing of the cake. So the bit on the outside. So yeah, I think this video might be several parts, I'm afraid, guys. Didn't quite realise how big a task I was taking on. But you know, that's fine. That's what colouring's about, isn't it? Taking on a big project and getting it done. Don't know if I'll get this completed by end of the month though. The completed pages in January. Right, so that is the chocolate. The chocolate of the chocolate coke. So that was brown ochre as a first layer, then burnt sienna as a second layer, walnut brown was the third and fourth layers with a bit of black underneath these arches. 4 layers of Polychromos. So there you go. That's the first bit done, my loves. So thank you very much for watching. I look forward to seeing you in part 2, and have a good rest of the evening.